This is not just a zombie movie, but a story about selfishness, sacrifice, and what it means to be human.
Near a biotech company, a quarantine checkpoint is set up after a suspected chemical leak. A truck driver, irritated by the delay, speeds away without knowing he's carrying death with him. On the dark road ahead, he hits a deer and leaves it lying lifeless on the asphalt. Moments later, the deer twitches, then slowly stands back up, its eyes completely white. In Seoul, Suk-woo lives a successful but empty life as a work-obsessed fund manager.
He believes money and efficiency matter more than people, including his own family. His young daughter, Suin, lives with him after the divorce, quietly missing her mother every day. On her birthday, Suk-woo gives her a generic gift, unaware she already owns the same one. Suin forces a smile, but the disappointment in her eyes is impossible to hide. She finally tells her father the truth. All she wants is to see her mother in Busan.
At first, Suk-woo hesitates, thinking about work and deadlines.
But guilt slowly takes over, and he agrees to take her there by train the next morning.
Before leaving, Suk-woo makes a quiet phone call, arranging a private exit route in Busan.
Even now, his instinct is still to protect only himself and his daughter.
Early in the morning, they arrive at the busy Seoul station and board the KTX train. Inside, passengers laugh, chat, and scroll their phones, unaware this ride will change everything. A high school baseball team boards the same train, full of energy and excitement. As the doors prepare to close, no one notices a sick, injured girl running toward the platform. Just before departure, she stumbles onto the train, and the doors slide shut behind her. Inside the train, the injured girl limps through the aisle, her body shaking unnaturally.
In a nearby restroom, a homeless man hides, trembling and whispering that everyone is dead.
The girl collapses on the floor, convulsing violently as foam spills from her mouth. A train attendant rushes over, kneeling beside her and calling for help. Without warning, the girl snaps awake and sinks her teeth into the attendant's neck. Blood sprays as passengers scream and stumble backward in terror. The bitten attendant convulses, bones cracking as her body twists violently. Seconds later, she rises again, eyes white, humanity completely gone. She lunges at the nearest passenger, spreading the infection instantly. Panic erupts as the first screams echo through the train cars. The infection spreads like wildfire, one bite creating another monster. Suk-woo grabs Suin's hand and runs, pushing past terrified passengers.
His instinct is clear: survive first, help later.
Behind them, the baseball team watches in shock as their friends are torn apart. Screams, crashing bodies, and blood turn the train into a moving slaughterhouse. Suk-woo slams through a connecting door just as zombies crash against the glass. A large man named Sang-hwa appears, shielding his pregnant wife from the chaos. Suk-woo tries to shut the door, nearly locking them out to save himself. Sang-hwa forces the door open, his glare burning with fury and disgust.
In that moment, Suk-woo's selfishness is laid bare.
Zombies smash against the glass, snarling and clawing to get inside. Sung-kyung splashes water onto the glass and covers it with newspaper. With their vision blocked, the zombies suddenly calm down.
They realize the infected attack only what they can see and hear.
The train speeds forward, carrying the survivors deeper into the nightmare.
Suk-woo secretly calls his mother, hoping she is still alive. All he hears is labored breathing on the other end of the line. The call cuts off, and Suk-woo understands the truth without needing words. For the first time, fear replaces his confidence. Outside the windows, the world is already falling apart.
News reports begin spreading across phones, claiming violent riots are breaking out nationwide. The train captain announces an emergency stop at Taejun Station, where the military is deployed. For the first time since the outbreak, hope quietly returns to the passengers' faces.
People cling to the idea that the army will save them, because believing feels easier than despair.
As the train slows down, Suk-woo makes a discreet phone call to a business contact.
He arranges a private escape route for himself and Suin, once again choosing survival over morality.
The train doors open at Taejun Station, revealing a city unnaturally silent. Soldiers stand motionless on the platform, rifles in hand, faces hidden in shadow.
The silence feels wrong, but fear pushes the survivors forward anyway.
Passengers cautiously step off the train, calling out for help that never comes. Suddenly, a soldier collapses, and then rises again with twisted limbs and white eyes. The truth hits instantly. The military has already fallen. A massive horde of infected soldiers lets out a piercing scream and charges. Panic explodes as people turn and run, trampling each other in blind terror. Screams echo through the station as the dead swarm up the escalators. The glass barriers shatter under the force of the charging zombies. Suk-woo grabs Suin and tries to pull her toward the eastern exit, away from the crowd.
Even now, his instinct is to abandon others if it means saving his own child. Suin stops and looks at him, her eyes filled with disappointment. She asks why he always leaves people behind when they need help the most. Then she says the words that cut deeper than any wound. "You only care about yourself. That's why Mom left." Suk-woo freezes, unable to argue because he knows she's right.
Before he can respond, the infected soldiers break through the crowd behind them. Reality crashes down. There is no safe exit, no shortcut, no special treatment. Suk-woo turns back and scoops Suin into his arms, sprinting toward the train. Sang-hwa and other survivors fight desperately to hold the horde back. Zombies rain down from the upper floors as the platform descends into chaos. The train begins to move, leaving anyone who hesitates behind. Suk-woo throws Suin onto the moving train and leaps after her. Sang-hwa barely makes it on board with his pregnant wife as the doors slam shut. The train pulls away from Taejun, leaving the station consumed by fire and screams.
Hope dies at Taejun, replaced by the brutal truth of this new world. There is no rescue coming, only choices and the price they demand.
After escaping Taejun, the survivors realize they are now scattered across different train cars. Suk-woo, Sang-hwa, and the student Jung-guk are trapped together in Car 9.
Suin, Sung-kyung, an elderly woman, and the homeless man are locked inside a restroom in Car 13.
Through a shaky phone call, Suin whispers that zombies are right outside the door.
Hearing his daughter's voice, Suk-woo finally understands what fear truly means.
Sang-hwa doesn't hesitate. He decides they will go rescue them. To reach Car 13, they must pass through several cars filled with infected passengers.
One mistake will mean death, but leaving them behind is not an option.
They arm themselves with batons and shields, wrapping their forearms with tape. Sang-hwa takes the lead, ready to smash through anything standing in their way. Suk-woo guards the rear while Jung-guk stays between them. The door opens, and dozens of zombies snap their heads toward the sound. Sang-hwa charges forward, punching and shoving the infected aside with raw strength. Suk-woo and Jung-guk strike from behind, desperately holding the line.
The zombies are powerful but mindless, attacking only what they can see.
Working together, the trio clears the first infected car.
In the next car, Jung-guk freezes when he recognizes his baseball teammates.
His hesitation almost gets them killed as the infected swarm toward them. Suddenly, the train plunges into a dark tunnel. In the darkness, the zombies stop attacking, confused and blind.
Suk-woo realizes the infected rely completely on vision and sound.
Using the darkness, they sneak past the frozen horde. They reach Car 13 just as the train is about to exit the tunnel. Suin runs into her father's arms, sobbing with relief.
Sung-kyung clings to Sang-hwa, knowing how close she came to death.
Light floods the car as the train leaves the tunnel. The zombies spot them instantly and surge forward. The group scrambles into the narrow vestibule, slamming the door shut.
For a brief moment, they are all together, but safety is still far away.
The only secure car left is Car 15, where other survivors have barricaded themselves.
To reach it, they must trust people who have already chosen fear over compassion.
Jung-guk messages his friend inside Car 15, begging them to open the door.
Inside, the selfish COO Dong-seok convinces the passengers to keep it locked.
Behind them, the infected break through the barrier, screaming and clawing forward. Trapped between the zombies and the locked door, panic sets in. Sang-hwa plants himself at the front, holding the horde back with everything he has. He shouts at Suk-woo to break the door open, no matter the cost. Suk-woo smashes the glass, fighting against the crushing weight of the dead.
The pressure becomes unbearable, and the zombies begin to overwhelm them.
Sang-hwa is bitten on the hand while holding the line.
He knows immediately what that means. With his last strength, Sang-hwa forces Suk-woo and the others inside Car 15. He locks eyes with his wife one final time and smiles. Then, he lets the zombies take him. Suk-woo and the others collapse inside Car 15, barely escaping death. Sung-kyung breaks down, realizing her husband sacrificed himself so they could live. But instead of relief, suspicion fills the room.
Yeon points at them, claiming they might be infected.
Fear spreads faster than the virus itself.
One by one, the passengers agree to push them out of the safe car.
No one listens to reason, not even the elderly women. Compassion dies quietly behind locked doors.
Suk-woo, Suin, Sung-kyung, Jung-guk, Jin-hee, and the homeless man are forced into another car.
They are abandoned by people they just risked their lives to save.
Soon after, Yeon is bitten during the chaos.
Terrified of death, he hides the wound instead of warning others.
As the train slows near Busan, the infection inside car 15 explodes. Yeon transforms and attacks everyone in sight. Jung-guk is bitten while protecting Jin-hee.
Rather than run, Jin-hee chooses to stay with him. Holding hands, they face the end together. Love, in this world, is an act of defiance.
The remaining survivors flee toward the engine. Only Suk-woo, Suin, and Sung-kyung make it out alive.
The train reaches Busan, but the city has already fallen.
Military forces prepare to eliminate any possible infected survivors. On the engine car, Yeon attacks Suk-woo one last time. Suk-woo kills him, but not before being bitten himself.
Suk-woo hides the bite from his daughter, just like Yeon once did. But unlike Yeon, he makes a different choice. He records a final message for Suin's mother. For the first time, he apologizes for not being there as a father. Remembering Suin's birth, Suk-woo smiles through tears. Then, he steps off the train before he can turn. Suin watches her father disappear into the darkness. She doesn't scream, she understands.
Suin and Sung-kyung walk through a long tunnel toward the soldiers.
From afar, they look like infected figures approaching.
The soldiers prepare to fire.
Just before the trigger is pulled, Suin begins to sing. It's the same song she was supposed to perform for her father. The soldiers lower their weapons. Humanity, at the very edge of extinction, survives in a child's voice.
The outbreak ends, but the cost will never be forgotten.